Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Forster with Karam Fellowship. This is our latest member spotlight, and I'm speaking with Ken Barnes at Gordon-Conwell Theological Seminary. Ken, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure as always.
Ken, how are big picture issues affecting what you're doing in the classroom?
Yeah, well, I have to say, I've never quite seen anything like what we're going through right now. There's this general mood out there, this kind of anti-intellectualism and anti-globalization and tribalism even. And that's a problem for an institution that has a motto that is think theologically, engage globally, and live biblically. So we've always lived in that tension between different theological traditions. And for us, it's always been an asset, not a liability. I mean, we are rooted in the Word. The inerrancy of the Word is not up for debate. But because we're multi-denominational and because we're very globally focused, we have been a place that has required a lot of grace and deep inquiry and humility. And in a sense, we're countercultural right now. I mean, the screaming and the kvetching and the talking heads and the I'm right, you're wrong, and not only am I right, you're wrong, I'm right, you're evil. I mean, it's just become really a problem, and and we see it. We see it filtering through the institution. There's no exceptions to it. It's happening in the church. It's happening in businesses. It's happening obviously in the government. So it's a new challenge. It's a new challenge.
I think one of the biggest challenges in theological education right now is just figuring out how institutions that want to be broad in that way can be appealing because institutions that serve a niche have a really clear appeal. Students that want to be in that niche, they're responding to that appeal. And I think I teach at Trinity Evangelical Divinity School, which, like Gordon Conwell, strives to be broad in the same way. And we're feeling a lot of those same pressures.
Yeah, exactly right. But I think the fever will break. I think this kind of tribalism always eventually crumbles under the weight of its own intellectual inefficiencies, and so we'll come out on the other side stronger. But in the meantime, yeah, it's a real challenge, a real challenge.
You're making me think of something from economics, Herb Stein's iron law. If something cannot go on forever, it will stop.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Ken, what are the one or two biggest challenges that you're dealing with right now? I feel like we're already talking about at least one, if not two of them, but tell me how are you handling those?
Well, the biggest external challenge right now to all of us, in my opinion, in all of higher education is artificial intelligence. Now, we've been talking about this for a while. I have the privilege of having tremendous access to MIT and the media labs there, where they do the raw research that becomes products down the road, but is a generation ahead of the products for quite a few years now. And same with Harvard Business School, which is right around the corner. And we engage regularly with them through the Mockler Center and through other centers as well here at the college, at the seminary. And so we've all known that AI was coming. We all knew that AI was going to be disruptive. But in terms of higher education, I think few of us anticipated how generative AI was going to impact the classroom. And so I'm just coming off a sabbatical now, and I have told my colleagues when I come back, every class that I teach requires papers. I will continue to require the papers, but I will not grade a single paper. I will have a viva with every one of my students to ensure that they wrote the paper. Now, on the one hand, you could say, oh, that's unfortunate that we have to go to those extremes. But on the other side, I look at it as a positive. As you well know, I've taught at Oxford University for many years, going back this summer. I love it. Tutorials are the norm, right? Where you have a one-on-one every week with your supervisor, and iron sharpens iron, and everybody learns. So I think the days of here's the assignment, post the paper, and I'll send you a corrected paper and a grade. I think those days are over. They're over for me, I can tell you. It's a little more work on our part, but I actually think we'll benefit from it as professors. So that's the first thing. The generative AI is a really important one. And then the agenic AI, which is another issue because I deal, as you know, in ethics, as you do. Agenic AI is a tremendous challenge to us because it's creating an environment where we are asking people in certain circumstances to abdicate their moral agency to algorithms. Classic example for me is cryptocurrency. I mean, I've written against cryptocurrency at a pretty high level for a while now, not because I don't have faith in the blockchain, but because the blockchain is just a ledger, period. And when it comes to economic intercourse, you cannot abdicate your moral agency and your moral responsibility. Otherwise, the whole system falls apart. Moral agency was presumed by Adam Smith, right? And others. So I think that's the other thing. So agenic AI and generative AI are by far, in our world, my world, the biggest challenges.
Right. We are the image bearers and we are the ones with agency, and people use new computer tools to deny that they are responsible for what
Right.
happens. Oh, it's just what the computer did, but you need to be watching what the computer does and make sure that what the computer does is right. And that applies to your first point as well, going back to the educational challenge. People will say it's okay to use AI as long as you check what it does. But where are you going to find people who know how to check what it does if the education system incorporates the use of AI into our training of young people?
Mm.
If people are going to be able to check it, then they have to be able to do it without the AI.
You better believe it. That's why you used to have to show your homework, right? When you did a mathematical exam on your homework, you used to have to show how you got to that answer. And it's very, very similar. And also, I mean, we have to understand that there are bad actors out there, and there are bad actors who are designing some of the algorithms, and that's a problem. So I think these are going to be the big picture issues that affect us for a long time.
Yeah. What's one thing that you would like to see happen next in theological education?
Oh, that's an easy one, actually. A return to incarnational education. Someone asked me the other day, in fact, how do I think AI is going to ultimately impact theological education? And my response is, I think it's going to make um, uh, online education, not online that involves live actors, but asynchronous online theological education obsolete. Because if what is the value of a disembodied transfer of information? AI will do a better job than you sitting in front of a recording that a professor recorded 3 years ago, and then you're going to respond to it. That's not theological education. I don't know what that is, but it's not theological education in my book because God came in human form. All right? Our carnality is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's a fallen thing, but it's a good thing. So I think we need to go back to the importance of in-person education. Residential is part of it, but not only residential. One of the great successes here at Gordon-Conwell, and I assume it's other places as well, with the Doctor of Ministry programs, is that a lot of the learning happens remotely, but those residencies are where the magic happens. And so I envision an end to asynchronous online education and a future where online is simply supplementing residencies of some kind, cohorts of some kind, retreats, etc., so that we can also capture the spirit, right? I mean, I feel like AI is trying to push the Holy Spirit out, and we need to make sure that the Holy Spirit is never marginalized. So when it comes to formation and discipleship and worship, and frankly, just living this Christian journey together, that can't be done disembodied, in my opinion. So that to me is the single biggest thing for me.
I'm hearing that from a lot of people. And one thing I especially appreciate you highlighting is the potential this shows in hybrid programs in which online is an element,
Yeah.
but is used to supplement those high touch, sometimes cohort based, in-person experiences. I had, until the last couple of years, I had heard people talking about how Zoom was going to make the hybrid version obsolete, because why do partly online and partly in person when now we have so much more power to do online efficiently? But we're learning the limits of that, and AI is just going to make that an even bigger issue.
So, you may not have ever noticed this, but do you know it's impossible for you and I to look each other in the eye on Zoom? Because if I'm looking at that camera, I'm not looking at you. And I can look at your eyes, but you can't look into mine while I'm looking at yours. I mean, something as basic as that. Forget about the human touch. Forget about nonverbal communication. Forget about holding the hand of someone who's suffering. That's what the Christian walk is all about. So I don't think we want to train a whole generation of pastors who don't know how to cry with people.
No doubt somebody in Silicon Valley is working hard on
Excuse
that
me.
computer monitor that has the camera in the center so that you can look each other in the eye. But that'll just be another step. We're incarnate beings, and we'll still need to be able to cry with people.
Yeah,
Ken, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. God bless.